Well, here we are again, KRAZ TV, live from Tucson, Arizona. This is the book reviews. Henrik Ibsen. I'll probably butchering his name. Wait till I get to the author. The Man in the Mask. Indispensable reading for anybody who wishes to understand Ibsen. Ivo de Figueiredo, translated by Robert Ferguson. Look how big this book is. This is essential. That's right. It's really a seminal work about Norway's early days before its independence, but it was in the 1840s. So that was the bourgeois times. And he loved to write and did poetry, and he dabbled a little bit in art, but he also became the famous dramatist. He worked for several theaters in the time in Norway, and it was under Danish rule. And then and later it became a union of Sweden and Norway. But in the end, Norway actually got its monarch and all of that in 1905. So, well, he died in '04, I think. So, anyways, this grand book, it's got this at the Tucson Pima County Public Library. It's all about his plays. Shows a lot of his plates. It's a typical 1840s period, and the theaters and all that. So it's really a grand book. But this guy had a sharp tongue, and he was sort of introverted. He didn't like really many things in life, but he did like to get a good story out. But he also felt it was important that Norway get its story out and not just Scandinavia. He was more for Scandinavia, even though they were Germanic languages. It's just, it isn't a mess. It's just, everything has to be straightened out, and this guy helped straighten it out in his world and his time. So it's kudos to Henrik Ibsen, the great dramatist and theater and playwright, a writer of the early days of Norway. So, yeah, it's not unfamiliar. He is often portrayed as a suffering artist rejected by bourgeois society after the bankruptcy of his father, the genius who languished as a young apothecary assistant in Grimstad, all the while looking for recognition that the elite and cultural backwater that was in Norway declined to give him. So he carved out his own way, and he made his own way, and he actually is the father of the theater industry and all today, and well known as one of the great founders of Norway and its culture. So yeah, keep reading. This was a big read. It took several days. The other ones were easier, but this was fascinating. I didn't think I'd like it, and yet, when I started reading, I couldn't put it down. I just don't know why. I think maybe it's the way the reader wrote it, or just maybe the guy did have a lot to say and fascinating. So anyway, get this book like you did, and if you can, donate to us over at kraztv.com and subscribe over there for our $10 million auction, because that's what we want for our website now. And here is one more reason why. Keep reading. This is the Zero Channel. Goodbye.